Hi there, I'm the Nature Guy and I'm here at Camp Au Sable. It's good to be back after being gone during the camp meeting season. Well, today I would like to talk about some pine trees, some different aspect of pine trees that we haven't talked about before. And I have this little pine tree that we cut just recently because of a trail. And I know that most of you know that when you cut a tree, and you count the rings on the end. Whoop, we got a leaf stuck on the end. If you count the rings on a tree that's been cut, you can determine the age, more or less. Some years there might be 2 rings because you had a dry season and then a rainy season, but that roughly gives you the idea of age. Well, in pine trees, you don't have to cut the tree to figure out the age, because in pine trees, the branches that grow each year show an interval of how many years. And each year they grow a whorl of branches. That's these 5 branches around, and here's another one here, and here's another one here. So this tree, if we count, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and this is this year's growth, just starting to grow. So this is in its 6th year, and the tree is just about as tall as I am, almost 6 feet tall. So that represents about a foot of growth each year. So this tree was doing real well. But now what's interesting is these branches that start out even when the tree is very small, what happens when this tree goes big around? Do these branches stay? Do they change? Do they fall off? Well, it turns out they keep growing too, and they get bigger in diameter as they grow and the tree grows around it. So that what happens is when we get a log big enough that can be cut into boards like this one, there's the bark on the outside and some of the sapwood and then the heartwood, you can still see the evidence of those branches. There's what we call a knot in the lumber industry. There's another one down here. So you can see that these little branches that start out really small in diameter grow bigger and bigger in a mature tree. And just the other day, I found a chunk of a tree that had been cut because it had blown over in a windstorm. And it's one of the most interesting chunks of a tree that I've seen. Now, you can see that it's hollowed out somehow. It turns out that carpenter ants have kind of chewed through. You can see where they've chewed, and they've chewed out the inside of this tree that must have been rotting out. They found food. But if you look down inside, you can see all those points coming into the center. That's the branches from the original tree. So the ants have chewed all the softwood out and have left the core of all of the branches that were in there that were coming out the side of the tree. And you can see right down inside there, all of those branches, starting from really small at the center. And you can see they get bigger and bigger as they grow out, showing how the tree grows inside. So that's just a cool piece of wood here at Camp Au Sable. So what's the lesson we can learn? Well, those ants chewing away at the insides, getting down to the real core of how those branches are all arranged, kind of reminds me about a verse in the Bible where it says that God doesn't look at the outward appearance. He doesn't care what you're wearing or what you had for breakfast. He looks at our heart. He looks down deep in the core of our heart, and he knows us very, very well. He wants to be our friend. He wants to help us. We have our worries and our problems and our struggles and our stresses. He would like to deal with those internal things with us, and he just loves for us to spend more time with him in prayer. And he just loves us so much, and we want to make sure that we respond to him and accept that love and allow him to work in our hearts. That's our lesson for today. See you next time.